Welcome to this evening's international news. Let's hear the headlines first. China's virtue hit economy shrinks for first time in decades. Trump unveils plan to reopen states in phases. China's Wuhan revises coronavirus death toll up by 50%. Africa coronavirus cases could hit 10 million in 6 months, says WHO. Fears over most vulnerable Palestinian prisoners amid coronavirus. And COVID-19 patients respond to Gilead's drug, says report, shares surge. These were the headlines. Let's jump into the details news now. China's economy shrank for the first time in decades in the first quarter of the year as the coronavirus forced factories and businesses to close. The world's second biggest economy contracted 6.8% according to official data released on Friday. The financial toll the coronavirus is having on the Chinese economy will be a huge concern to other countries. China is an economic powerhouse as a major consumer and producer of goods and services. This is the first time China has been its economy shrinkage in the first 3 months of the year since it started recording quarterly figures in 1992. The GDP contraction in January-March will translate into permanent income losses, reflected in bankruptcies across small companies and job losses, said Yu Su at the Economist Intelligence Unit. Last year, China saw healthy economic growth of 6.4% in the first quarter, a period when it was locked in a travel war with US. In the first 2 decades, China have seen average economic growth of around 9% a year. Although experts have regularly questioned the accuracy of its economic data. Its economy had ground to a halt during the first 3 months of the year as it introduces large-scale shutdowns and quarantines to prevent the virus spread in late January. As COVID-19 continues to spread across US, President Donald Trump has given governors guidance on reopening state economies in the coming months. The guidelines for opening up America again outline 3 phases for states to gradually ease their lockdowns. Mr. Trump promised governors they would be handling the process themselves, with help from the federal government. There has been a mixed reception to the plans, with a leading Democrat calling them vague and inconsistent. The US currently has 654,301 confirmed cases and 32,186 deaths due to the virus, and Mr. Trump has suggested some states could reopen this month. In his daily briefing on Thursday, President Trump declared the next front in our war, opening up America again. America wants to open and Americans wants to open, he said. A national shutdown is not a sustainable long-term solution. He said that a prolonged lockdown risked inflicting a serious toll of public health. He warned of a sharp rise in drug abuse, alcohol abuse, heart diseases, and other physical and mental problems. Mr. Trump told reporters that healthy citizens would be able to return to work as conditions allow. He said Americans could continue to be called upon to maintain social distancing measures and to stay home if they are unwell. Wuhan, the central Chinese city where the coronavirus first emerged last year, revised sharply upwards its death toll from disease, admitting people died at home and cases were missed at hospitals struggled to cope in the early days of the outbreak. The adjustment, detailed in a social media post by this city government on Friday, increased the health death toll by 1,290, about 50%, bringing the total to 3,869. The revision brought the number of dead across China to 4,632. The revisions came as a number of world leaders suggested China had been entirely open about the full domestic impact of a virus that has now killed more than 140,000 people around the world and confirmed half of humanity to their homes. China on Friday denied Western suggestions it had covered up the extent of its coronavirus outbreak and rejected US allegations it has an overly cozy relations with the World Health Organization. Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian acknowledged the virus's rapid spread contributed to undercounting that resulted in China raising its death toll, but added, "There has never been any confinement and we will never allow any confinement." Coronavirus cases in Africa could surge from just thousands now to 10 million within 3 to 6 months, according to provisional modeling, a regional World Health Organization official said. But Michael Yeo, head of emergency operations from WHO Africa, said on Thursday it has a tentative projection that could change. He noted worst-case predictions from Ebola outbreak had not come true because people changed their behavior in time. This is still to be fine-tuned, he told a media teleconference. It's difficult to make a long-term estimation because the context changing too much and also public health measures. When they were fully implemented, they can actually have an impact. The world's poorest continent has seen more than 17,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and about 900 deaths so far, relatively few compared with other regions. But there are fears that the numbers could balloon and overwhelm shaky health services. We are concerned that the virus continues to spread geographically within countries, says Motei, director of WHO's Africa region, which comprises 46 sub-Saharan nations and Algeria. The numbers continue to increase every day. Nureddin Sarsour was not surprised when his test for COVID-19 came back positive. He received the news a day after his release from Israeli prison on March 31. During his 2-week detention at Israel's Offer prison in the occupied West Bank on charges of throwing stones and firebombs at Israeli forces, the 19-year-old said he underwent 2 blood tests and throat swab. A day later, the charges against him were dropped and he was released, although he has not informed of the test results. Unusually, before the prisoner is released from Israel prison, he should meet the prison manager Sarsour, who in 2017 has previously been detained and released without charges, told Al Jazeera from isolation in a hotel in Ramallah. When I went to see him, the manager was wearing an anti-static uniform with a face mask and spoke to me while standing about 3 meters away. At that moment, I felt there was something wrong, he said. Gilead Sciences Incorporation's shares surged 16% in after-hours trading on Thursday following a media report detailing encouraging partial data from trials of the U.S. company's experimental drug in served COVID-19 patients. A University of Chicago hospital participating in a study of the antiviral medicine said it is seeing rapid recoveries in fever and respiratory symptoms, with nearly all patients discharged in less than a week, according to medical news website STAT. Gilead, in an email statement, said the totality of the data need to be analyzed in order to draw any conclusion from the trial. Medicine also, in an email, said partial data from an ongoing clinical trial is by definition incomplete and should never be used to draw a conclusion.